My channel and part 2 of this easy evening / going out makeup look. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a full coverage yet glowy finish to the skin, so let's get started. Okay guys, so I've got my eye makeup on already. We can now get on with the skin, and to start off I'm going to use something called Strobe Cream. How do I describe this? It's kind of like I guess like a liquid highlighter, but more like a cream version that you can actually use. They say it's quite moisturizing, so if you have got oily skin you can actually use this as almost like an illuminating moisturizer as well. I've got more of a dry skin, so I always do sort of my skincare first, and I kind of use it like a primer. Some people like to also use it just on its own and dab it onto like their cheekbones as like a cream highlighter. So it's kind of difficult to describe it, but basically, yeah, it kind of just is something that adds a really nice glow to the skin, and I like using this before my foundation. Like I said, almost like my primer. It's not coming out the bottle. I don't want it to get too much out. You know sometimes when you shake a bottle and then like you squeeze in and like all comes out in a big blob? Yeah, I was trying to avoid that. Because it has got quite a moisturizing texture, you can kind of just use your hands, and I'm just gonna go in and apply that all over. What this is going to do is it's going to add a lovely glow almost coming from like underneath my foundation, and I'm going to go for quite a full coverage foundation look. Once I've done that, I'm just going to spray my beauty blender with the good old Fix Plus, and I like to use that just to dampen my beauty blender before I go in with my foundation. Today's foundation is the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation, and this is one of my favourite foundations. So it's got a beautiful medium coverage, I would say, and for me it's like got a gorgeous glow as well. So it kind of says it in the name, Sheer Glow Foundation. So I use the shade Barcelona, and using the Strobe Cream underneath acts like a really nice base. You'll notice, like, you know, just like sort of like any other primer, it just gives it a nice smooth kind of finish for like the foundation to sort of blend into. And you probably notice I don't really ever put foundation underneath my eyes, and that's because I usually use quite a full coverage concealer underneath my eyes, so I just feel like I don't really need, you know, an extra layer of foundation. Also, just remember, the more layers you put on underneath the eyes, the more it's likely to crease, and none of us want creasing under eyes. Now next I'm going to go in with my concealer. I like to use the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in NW25, and this is for my under eyes because I feel like it's going to give it a nice bit of brightness. I always go a couple of shades lighter than my natural skin tone. And also my concealers are always more of like a pinky tone because it helps to kind of lift the darkness underneath the eyes. So I find it's a good little 2-in-1 step. Instead of having to use like a colour corrector and then a concealer on top, I use just a nice lighter concealer but with a pinky tone, and it kind of just does the same thing. And I just like to go in with my finger just underneath the eyes. Obviously we've already got my eye makeup on, so just being careful that I'm not going too far up with the concealer. And because this concealer helps to sort of highlight areas, because it is a little bit lighter, I can kind of use this also to go down my nose, middle of my forehead, just kind of areas where you want to like highlight. Oh my god, look. Upper lip and the chin. And what this does is it just more so like highlights the centre of the face. So I'm just going to use the end of my beauty blender again just to blend out the concealer. Always blend your concealer into your cheek and then follow onto the bridge of your nose so that it blends nicely into your foundation and doesn't leave like a, you know, like a nice little panda look around the eyes. So guys, once you've blended in that concealer, obviously you want to set. So I'm going to go in today with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Perfecting Powder. This is actually something new that I've tried out recently, thanks to one of my, well actually two of my bestest friends' recommendation. They both use this powder and they both loved it. I'm a shade number 2, which is a medium, and it's basically, they call it a skin perfecting micro powder. I think what that means is basically it it just blurs everything out, gives it a really nice smooth finish. I've been using it now for about a week or so and I absolutely love it. So I always use like a little mini sponge just to set underneath the eyes first. So yeah, shout out to my two best friends. They know who they are. They've really kind of basically persuaded me to get this powder because they were like, it's so good, try it. So I really use this little mini sponge to push the powder underneath the eyes. So that's going to kind of stop the concealer from creasing as well. Then I'm going to take the powder and I'm just going to set the rest of my face using my lovely powder brush. Now a little bit goes a long way with this powder, so just keep that in mind. You don't need to use absolutely loads. And I love this for like my, you know, like we're doing today, like a really nice evening glam. So like more of my, like my full-on, full coverage days where I really want to make that makeup look on point. So you can see how this powder just gives a lovely kind of smooth, full coverage finish. I just love it. I think it's really nice. As always, foundation lip is back and so is foundation brows. So I'm going to quickly clean those up. Well, I'll just clean up my lip, I'll do my brow at the end. Oh my god, this foundation lip is not coming off. Foundation lip is not budging. Oh no. So that feels a lot nicer now. Anyway, so back to what we were doing. I'm then next gonna go in with my contour. Now, because this is, like I said, more of my like evening full-on glam, I actually like to use powder contour always. So I never really use liquid because I just find that it, you know, it's just a lot more complicated. I feel like I get a similar effect with powder and actually prefer the look that I get with powder. So it's more of a personal preference. If you are someone that likes liquid contouring, of course, or cream, please go ahead. I prefer to just use powder. And what I like to do is I actually like to layer my contour. So what I mean by that is I start off with a bronzer. This one is called Give Me Sun by MAC. It's in their mineral collection. It's my favourite bronzer. So I start off with a bronzer to warm up the face, and this starts to sort of, you know, add the first layer of my contour. So when you're contouring, guys, always top of the ear down to the corner of the mouth. That's the angle that you want to go in, and you kind of want to stop around about where your eye starts, just there. And I love using bronzer as like my first layer of my contour because it adds a really nice warmth to the skin. This is my contour face. Like so. And if you guys have seen my other video where I do sort of more of like a natural look, I kind of just stick with bronzer just to contour with. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But I'm going to make this a little bit more of a evening or going out sort of look. And for that, I want my... Look at what my hair is doing right now. Long hair problems. So once I've done that first layer with the bronzer, I'm going to go in with my actual darker contour colour. Now this is actually a Tom Ford bronzer that I use, and it's a lot darker. I think it's a bronzer. Oh no, it's not. Okay, so this is actually... It's not a bronzer. I'm making stuff up. So this is the Tom Ford Flawless Powder Foundation, funnily enough. So this got recommended to me, I think it was about a couple of years ago, and it was number 10 Chestnut. So I'll write down the details at the bottom, but number 10 Chestnut, and it kind of looks like this. So it's sort of quite a darker colour, and I love this to contour. And I'm just going to use this to deepen that and make it a little bit darker. And by layering your contour, guys, what you're doing is you're getting that lovely sort of blended in look. So it's not like you're just using one colour, and sometimes when you're just using one colour to contour with, it can kind of look like a stripe a little bit. So I love to sort of use the bronzer first to kind of give it something to blend into. Plus you get a lovely bit of like warmth to the face using the bronzer. And I kind of only really do this like underneath my cheekbones. I feel like it's where like the most flattering. And then of course what you want to do is you want to clean up this contour. So I'm just going to go in with the same Charlotte Tilbury powder that I used to set my face, and I'm going to use another little beauty blender to, I just keep this one like just for powder, and you want to just take a little bit of powder and you want to just clean up the contour that you've just done. And then of course get your powder brush, because you don't want two lines on the side of your face, and you just want to blend that in. Really great tip if you feel like, you know, your contour's either gone too low or it's just not looking like as kind of, you know, on point as you want it to. This will just help to soften it up, but also, you know, just clean up any kind of mistakes that you might have made. And there's your contour done. And next up, we're going to go in with a bit of blush, because I love blush. I'm going to use one called Warm Soul. This is again from the MAC Mineral collection as well. It's a gorgeous, lovely kind of natural pink colour, which I really, really like. Best way to get your blusher on, guys, is to give yourselves a big smile. And where you get your apples of the cheeks is where you want to apply this. And just take your blusher and sort of blend it upwards into your contour. Like that, and then all we've got left is just to pop on a little bit of highlight, and I like using my Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop highlighter. Now I would open this up, but if you've watched part 1 of this video where I do my eyes and I use this for like my inner corner highlight and everything, it's smashed, so I'm not going to do that because otherwise it's going to go everywhere. Yes, it did hurt my heart also when it got smashed, and it was sad, but it's alright because I can still use it. It says it in the name, it's got a gorgeous kind of like lovely champagne gold to it. And I'm just going to use my fan brush from MAC to just go in with this highlight. I'm going to use a little bit down the middle of my nose as well. Also just temples of the forehead. Just whatever's kind of left on my brush. Like so. To make sure that my contour blush and my highlight is all nicely blended together, I get the same brush that I use for my contour and my blush as well, and I'm going to go over just those two areas so that there's no kind of like line between like your highlight and your contour. Just sort of go over that to make sure that it blends in really nicely. So guys, I've just finished off by cleaning up my lovely foundation brow and you can see my brows have completely come back to life. I've also just filled in my lips with the Whirl lip pencil from MAC, and I'm just going to finish off by applying the Trendsetter Huda Beauty liquid lipstick. So I'm just going to pop that on just to finish off. And I love like mixing my lip pencils and my lipsticks together. Because I feel like your lip liner kind of creates like a really nice base in the lip, and then when you put your lipstick on top, it just gives it a nicer kind of finish. Like that. The Whirl lip pencil and the Trendsetter Huda Beauty lipstick together just gives it a really nice kind of, I'm trying to talk like this, gives it like a really nice sort of nude kind of brown colour that I really like. Perfect to go with the lovely brown smoky eyes that we've done. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, don't forget to stick around for the bloopers at the end. And if anyone is actually interested in learning how to do their own makeup, I do actually teach private one-to-one makeup lessons, so just drop me a message if you want to know more. As always guys, thank you for watching, and stay beautiful, stay you. Got my eyes on, and now we can get on. Part 2 of this really easy evening and going out. Oh my god.